Hi guys, it's been a while. Thanks for sticking around and checking out this vlog while I've been away. It's 12 days after my son Nova has been birthed into this beautiful world, and I'm feeling really good, and I want to just share a little bit of the birth story with you. Today's the first day I've actually gotten down into my garden, and it brought a lot of clarity to me. I've been trying to write the birth story since he's been born, but I haven't completed it, so I just had an aha moment while I was watering the garden to just make a video. And you guys can ask me any questions of anything that maybe I've left out on accident. So you just let me know if there's anything you're curious about through the journey. Well, I'll start you off with the pregnancy itself. I didn't have a conventional relationship with a doctor or OB during this pregnancy. Instead, I chose to go with a birthing center called The Sanctuary here in Venice, California. And basically, I was met each appointment by amazing midwives, a team of 4 midwives and doulas, as well as assistants and people in training over there. Each appointment that I would go to, which started out once a month and then became more frequent as the pregnancy progressed. Each appointment that I went to was 1 hour long, and it was basically talking to all of the talking to whichever midwife was on staff that day, and about everything from diet, nutrition, mental, emotional well-being, any concerns I had, what to prepare for in the coming weeks, what things are normal, what things may not be normal. It was basically like an hour-long therapy session for pregnant women who, first-time moms. You have so many questions and concerns, and like, is that normal, or am I crazy for resenting being pregnant because this morning sickness is really tough? And you realize that you're not alone. It was really supportive, and instead of being weighed at every appointment, I was never weighed. I don't know still to this day how much weight I gained during pregnancy. All I know is that I felt great the whole time. I ate when I was hungry. I decided to eat whatever I wanted, and sometimes that ended up calling for meat. I can't even say what I wanted. I had a really intuitive, strong sense at some point to start eating a little bit of raw dairy and eggs, as well as some meat, and that felt really right. It gave me a lot of strength. There were days that I would walk 5 miles every day. And I noticed on the day after I've had a little bit of meat, I had so much more energy, and that really helped fuel me throughout the pregnancy. I didn't eat a lot, and when I ate it, I made sure it was always from an excellent source. I was really still very particular about this. But I was surprised. I was surprised that my body allowed me to eat it, but also gain so much nourishment from it, because everything I had read about meat in the body and the digestive system really freaked me out from thinking that I wouldn't be able to do it. But nature led me there, and it felt really right. And it feels really good to tell you guys that, because a lot of people assume that I eat nothing but plant-based foods, which that is definitely the majority, and definitely was the case prior to my pregnancy and the past several years. It's just that while I was pregnant, my intuition spoke louder than ever before, and I honored it, and I know now I made the right choices. It really supported me having the iron, the extra iron. Although I was taking chlorella and eating dark leafy greens almost on a daily, I still lacked the a sufficient amount of iron to be able to cope with the postpartum period, like such as now. I actually have blood clots that are coming out of me that are about the size, about this big, and that's kind of freaky and to see that much blood come out of my body. But where I feel good about it is knowing that my iron is now right where it should be, to support that much blood loss and give me the vitality that I need right now to support my newborn and myself through this postpartum period. So that's that. If you guys have any more questions about that, I'd be happy to answer it. And yeah, just overall really surprised how smell, taste, digestion of the animal products actually worked really well in synchronicity with my body during that time. And I'm really proud of myself for honoring that voice. It wasn't easy to go there. And it took a while to get comfortable with the idea of even admitting to myself that that's what I was doing. I felt guilty for doing it because I've honored the plants for so long, and I believe in their power, and I've read so much information about the meat that it almost didn't seem right. But when I tried it and ate it and saw how it worked in my body, it felt so right. So my plan is to continue with the really open diet for the next 4 more weeks. That'll be 6 weeks postpartum. And at that point, hormones and everything should balance and regulate itself, where I can reassess what my intuition's telling me to use to heal my body now moving forward. I'm still a huge advocate of the healing properties of raw and vegan foods, without a doubt. So I can still be a wealth of information for you guys there. But for any of you who might be pregnant or who might be looking to consume animal products for the synchronicity and vitality of your own body, I say you have to do you, figure out what's going to work for you, and whatever you do, make sure it's as ethical and sustainable as possible. Okay, you guys, so look forward to hearing from you guys if you have any questions in regards to that. And so, yeah, the meetings with the midwives were always supportive, super great. So I never went to an OB, never was weighed. They basically just checked Nova's heart rate every time, and I was able to listen to that each and every time. So rest assured, he's breathing, he's doing great. Developmentally, it seemed like everything was on track based on where my uterus was at the time, how it was growing. So I left there always confident, never any questions. If anything, every time I left there, I was way more empowered. So we'll fast forward now to coming up to the birth. About 2 months before birth, I started taking all the classes that the sanctuary had to offer. So everything from birth prep, labor and delivery, postpartum, breastfeeding, which was probably one of the most helpful classes and mind-blowing information that I had ever received. I cannot believe how difficult breastfeeding could actually be without the information that I received. So techniques are very important to learn if you're a new mom, because it could become very discouraging to breastfeed if you don't get a proper latch, or if for any reason you develop some type of problem breastfeeding. So support groups are available for that as well, and I highly encourage it for anybody, because there's been no greater joy so far in this parenting journey than nourishing Nova with my milk. It's so amazing just to see him become nourished from something that my body produces and can offer him. So I highly recommend that. And yeah, so up until birth 12 days ago, I felt really confident throughout the pregnancy. I knew that I would be able to do a home birth because I had been a healthy candidate. Every appointment, all tests came back great, and I was exercising, I was eating really well. Mentally, I felt strong and supported, and I knew I'd be able to do it. But when labor actually came on here at my home on Monday the 31st, I was really challenged. I was faced with, at some point throughout the contractions, I was faced with the reality of like, can I do this? Can I keep going on? And at one point I thought I couldn't anymore, so I asked my options to the midwives. I said, what can I do? Can I go to the hospital? And they basically, of course, were supportive of that if that was my choice, but they let me know the reality of that as well. You don't get the epidural right away. You have to take the long drive to the hospital while you're in these contractions. So, getting into a comfortable position isn't going to be the easiest thing. And already having all this mobility around my house to get in any position that I wanted, and I explored so many to help cope, I knew the car was going to be very limited. So midwives encouraged me into a position where I was on all fours on my bed with my chest pressed against the bed, and they pulled out this cloth that they call the rebozo, and basically they shimmied it around my hips, and that, while in that resting position, allowed me to fall asleep for about 40 minutes. During one of the more intense parts of my labor. I mean, I was shaken, I was scared, didn't know if I could continue to do it, but most of all, I was just so fatigued from having been in labor for so long. So, after the rebozo and being in that resting position, I woke up 40 minutes later so refreshed, you guys. Like, it blows my mind to this day to hear Alex tell me what he saw in me. He actually started taking photos, and I'll share those with you guys. I was pretty much in a state of ecstasy. It almost looked as if I could have an orgasm in this birthing experience. When the contractions started coming after I woke up, we basically started dancing to things like Bob Marley, Lauryn Hill, John Mayer came on, Jack Johnson, like just a really loving playlist. And Alex and I and the midwives would just kind of dance through the contractions. And then I started going through the contractions with a smile and a bounce and a lightness to myself that I definitely didn't have the whole day on the 31st. So this is like the first top of the morning and I'm pushing through with this newfound strength. It was so necessary to go through this surrendering process, get in a resting position. It's kind of like, if you will, child's pose in yoga. It's always there for you, and it totally realigned me to be able to make progress in the labor and delivery. So then the midwife suggested, why don't I go out into my garden? And this was daylight now, and I said, that's amazing. I have the option to go in my garden while I'm giving birth, of course. So I come down to my garden, and the moment I came in my yard, I just started crying. So many tears of joy came out of me because I was having my dream birth. What at first seemed like, oh no, it might take a really bad toll. I might have to go to the hospital. I'm not going to be able to do this. Just trumped all that when I found my inner strength and came out into the garden and realized I'm having my dream birth now. This is how I wanted it. I couldn't pick a better place, you know. So I come down into the garden. I do lunges. Those were the positions that the midwives had told me would encourage the labor to progress. And so I did that. I danced around again, smiled, took slow walks with my doula, with Alex, slow dance with the midwives, you know, found all these great and comfortable positions to be able to push through. At some point, I decided it was time to go upstairs again, so that way we can just kind of check how far dilated I was, and to just kind of switch things up. One thing I noticed throughout the labor was that it really helped to switch positions up, switch environment up. It just brought me through different phases and stages of the labor part. Went upstairs and they checked, and I had really progressed, but my water still hadn't broken. So at this point, I had been in labor pretty much since 4 a.m. on the 31st, and now we're somewhere at 8 a.m. on the 1st, and it's been a long time. I'm getting a little tired again, and I had the option to have them pop the water bag, because I could have kept going and trying to push to get it to burst, but all the contractions weren't allowing it still to burst, and it was right there. So they just offered for me to be able to do that, and I said yes. I gave it a few more tries, and when it wasn't bursting on its own, I knew that this was also the time to make that decision, because the next phase of the labor was going to be the pushing part, and the transition to where I get to meet my baby. And when I gauged endurance and strength at that point, that seemed like the best thing to do, and it was. And so then we get into the bedroom, which was a really cool place for me to end up pushing, because that's where Nova was conceived. So I basically had a lot of joy just knowing that, wow, we created you right here, and now we're going to give birth to you right here. And then we're going to go jump back in that bed after you're here and take a nap. So I was really excited to be in that spot, and the push-in part, I was really scared to go there. And then one of the midwives had told me at some point during the labor that basically sometimes the hardest places that that seem the hardest are the ones that are going to allow us to progress the most. So we have to go there. We can't ignore it. And I had tried several times throughout the labor contractions to ignore the areas that hurt the most. I shouldn't say hurt. That just required so much focus on breath and meditation to get through, that I ignored those spots. And I think just on any healing journey too, the more willing we are to go to those harder places, just the more growth and development happens. So when she said that, it gave me a lot of strength to just go to those places that I was trying to avoid. And that was one of the things that also helped get Nova onto this side of the world. So we start pushing. It felt maybe like 10, 12 contractions that actually helped me to be able to fully push him out. And yeah, it definitely feels like he comes out through my butt. It just feels, you have to really bunker down, and I'm gripping this stool thing and just kind of like really using all of my focus and concentration to push, to really use the power of the contractions, just like surfers use the waves, and really ride that wave to push and breathe that baby out into this world. And that was really cool. I was super scared of it, and it ended up being such a cool experience. And luckily at the end of it, I ended up with an incredibly healthy, beautiful baby boy. And for myself, no need for stitches, which was really surprising. I really pushed with all I had and thought for sure that something might have tore down there, but it didn't. So there were 3 small tears, and if they would have stitched those up, they would have created more tear than what was there, so by poking me with the needle. So there was no need. And now after 12 days I can say that I definitely feel really healed from it. I'm still going to wait to get into some yoga positions, and I'm still being mindful of that. The closer together I can keep everything, the better for the healing. So I'm taking it easy right now, and I'm really enjoying my baby moon. It's equivalent to a honeymoon for anyone who's ever been on one of those. I have not, but my whole time with Alex feels like it's been a honeymoon. So I'm basically having that time now with my family. Nova sleeps on me in the middle of the night. It's easy for me to breastfeed him that way. And when I need to get a few things done, I try not to do too much right now. I'm really spending this time bonding with him, but then I'll put him in a little Moses basket and he'll just take a nap. Or like right now, he's lying on Alex while Alex enjoys some bonding time with him. So he feeds regularly, he poops and pees regularly, he's starting to smile, and he makes just the cutest little faces that are much cuter than that. They're just like little baby squishy faces that melt my heart. So this has been an undescribable journey. The whole pregnancy was beautiful, even through the really tough times of pregnancy, dealing with these issues of conflict with the food, just deciding what's best for myself and the baby, and dealing with nausea and morning sickness and fatigue and lack of energy. Those were all difficult things to get through, and I made it through them, and came out much stronger in the end. And with a huge community of supportive women now, through the sanctuary, through other mamas whom I've met through these different classes, through friends who are now having babies, or friends who have had babies, my life has just enriched itself so much more, and I couldn't feel more humble and blessed for being able to experience this in my lifetime. And the support from community has just been overwhelming. I mean, I can't even tell you how incredible our friends, neighbors, family have been in supporting us in this journey, from celebrating with us to just being there for us in the postpartum period, preparing meals, dropping them off, showing up, just giving their love and presence to us and the baby. It's just been a total dream come true. Yeah, so, and right now, there's so much to share. There's so much that I want to give you guys. So if there's any questions that come about after watching this, I'd be so happy to answer them. One thing to note is I did opt to have a water birth at home, so the midwives did bring their tub. It was incredibly comfortable, but my contractions were not. So I wasn't really digging being in the water for too long. I knew that I had to get into other positions that were more even more challenging to make progress, so I didn't hang out in their tub for too long, but I did take a couple of baths in my own tub prior to them showing up, and also while they were filling up the other tub. So for anyone considering a water birth, I think that's also an awesome tool, but maybe for first-time moms, maybe not always maybe not being super attached to always being in the water might help progress the labor a little bit more, and just being open to wherever that labyrinth is going, to go with it, go with the flow. All right, you guys, I love you so much. I'm sure I left out quite a bit, but you let me know. Thanks so much for listening and watching and supporting this whole journey, and I can't wait to share many more videos of the exciting things to come in this new role as a Earth Mama. Bye, guys. Other things I'd like to note was, one, I had the support of an incredible doula, Caroline, who I decided maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I give birth to work with, because I had taken these hypnobirthing classes and I knew that that was going to be a really helpful tool. So every night I would listen to my hypnobirthing, and basically I'd fall asleep. I'd get so relaxed. A lot of times I wouldn't even finish the series. But it was working. I could tell because of how relaxed it made me. And that led me to take in another hypnobirthing class, and that led me to Caroline, my doula, who basically, from the moment she showed up, rubbed my back because I was having back labor the whole time. So she was there massaging my back every single contraction, and she also put a hot pad there in between. Alex was there playing music. He was playing this gorgeous handpan, and also playing me a playlist as well that we had planned beforehand. So those are just some other coping tools that helped me through the home birth, as well as the water, those big exercise balls, these birthing balls. That was something that helped me as well. And there were just a lot of different tools that I used. So for anyone else planning a home birth, I really recommend doing as much preparation through classes and through working with a doula as well as a midwife or OB, depending on which path you take. Definitely get as much information and coping techniques in your toolbox as possible. Meditation, breathing, hypnosis, water, doula, all of these things were just so instrumental in being able to make this home birth happen. So just wanted to give you guys that little tidbit as well, and as I think of anything else, I'll be sure to add it in. All right, you guys, take care. Love you. Look who showed up. Hey, baby. Hi. Hi. And this is Nova. All right, you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.